The movie starts with a narration of how dreams are designed with care for us and the reasons and rules. The narrator says they make dreams to help us on our journey and introduces a character, Nemo, who needs all the help she can get where she is going. The following scene shows a young girl, Nemo, and her dad, who is a sailor, and their life at the lighthouse by the sea. Later that night, she asks her dad why she needs to learn math in the lighthouse, but her father asks her what a lighthouse is for and says she needs answers to the question. He will give her the key to the lighthouse and sends her to sleep. His father also tells her a bedtime story about how he and a friend, Flip, lived the outlaw life, hunting treasure, and one day Flip learned about magic pearls, which granted wishes. But the trouble was finding them in dangerous waters, the Sea of Nightmares. They set sail to find the pearl, but a whirlpool drowned him to a place of dead creatures with tentacles, which grabbed him, and he ends the story. Later, he tells her instructions of how to survive a power cut and leaves on a boat in a storm. While she is asleep, a snowstorm blows and she walks downstairs to find her dad. She walks out, but the seawater topples the lighthouse and she drowns. In the water, she sees her father reaching for her, but she immediately wakes up from her dream. Later, Carlo and some other sailors visit her with news of her father getting lost in the storm. The officers then follow her father's instructions and take her to live with her uncle. There, her uncle Philip, who lives a lonely life working from home, introduces her to his door equipment and then shows her her room. Later, as she sleeps, she notices her doll, Pig, is alive, and her bed too shakes and grows longer legs. It carries her out of the window and through the city and floats onto the sea and takes her back to their lighthouse. There, she calls for her dad and then meets a man named Flip, who introduces himself as his dad's old partner before he had a kid, and she remembers her dad's stories about Flip. He then asks Nemo for her father's map and begins to search for it, while Nemo wonders if he is part of her dreams. Nemo says she wishes only to be with her dad, and Flip tells her to join him in his treasure hunt for magic pearls, which grant any wish as a way to help her meet her dad again. Saying she doesn't have the map, Flip throws her out the window with her doll, Pig, and she surprisingly wakes up from her dream in the morning. Later, her uncle takes her to a new school, which she calls a prison, and her uncle asks the teacher to take care of her. The teacher introduces her to her new class, and she meets Jamal, a new friend who tells her about the school, and she explains how she was homeschooled. Later, her uncle teaches her how to pick doorknobs, which she finds boring, and later she heads to sleep. Just then, in a dream, Pig shows her a picture in a box, and she wakes up and finds her dad's map there. The following day, she heads to school and finds a suitable hideout to sleep. She then wakes up at her lighthouse with Pig and Flip, who snatches her map and refuses her joining him. However, Nemo performs the double knock, an outlaw code, and Flip explains how they travel through people's dreams, and if you die in someone else's dream, you don't ever wake up. Nemo insists on coming, and Flip is forced to agree, and she brings Pig too. Flip then explains about the world of dreams and the map of every dream in the world of Slumberland, which he and Nemo's dad used to go on adventures by jumping from dream to dream, which they stole from an officer at the Bureau of Subconscious Activities, BOSA, who decide what you dream. He also shows her the Sea of Nightmares, where the magic pearls are, but the BOSA cops hide its existence. They find a secret door and move into a different dream world where he asks her to keep a low profile and stay focused. A party official rings to the agency about a thieving punk, and Agent Green arrives. Flip then dances with the dreamer, but Green appears and a nightmare interrupts the party, but they escape. Nemo says she saw the nightmare when her father died, and Flip says nightmares smell and track fear. Nemo then wakes up in the real world and Jamal finds her. Later, her uncle plans a sale for her, but she refuses, and later, he explains how his dad also shut himself off in an island, but she calls him lonely too and goes to bed and forces herself to sleep. She then wakes up in her dream with Pig and reunites with Flip. Nemo asks about his identity in the real world, and Flip says he just travels from dream to dream without waking up and only wishes to find the pearl and continue without Agent Green after him, while Nemo only wishes to meet her dad. They board a garbage truck driven by another dreamer, while Green chases them, wanting her map back. Flip and Nemo then move into the front seat and are surprised to find the careless driver is actually a young kid. The truck jumps over into the water and the dreamer disappears and a nightmare attacks while they struggle to unlock the door. Nemo then unlocks the door and they appear in a different location. However, Agent Green retraces and freezes them and rejoices for catching Flip, one of the most wanted criminals after chasing him for 30 years, and is now 160 years old. She arrests Flip and searches him, but fails to find her map, and then locks them up in a room at the Bureau headquarters and leaves. Flip then reveals how he is unable to wake up since he stayed in Slumberland too long and forgot everything about himself, and wishes to use the pearl to regain himself. Later, Green releases Nemo and leaves Flip locked and takes her around the Bureau to see where the magic happens. She goes through a list of the dreams they gave her, revealing that everything in Slumberland happens for a reason. Nemo asks for a dream with her father, but Green opts to give her a lighthouse dream where she will move on, lest the nightmares find and destroy her. Green then tells her the pearls are only a myth and wakes her up. Nemo wakes up and finds her uncle disappointed that she will not see her father again. Her uncle then shows her a recording of him and her dad while younger and how they planned on traveling on adventures and finding treasures. She sees his red string while he explains how they managed to find each other in their dreams, and Nemo realizes that her uncle is actually dressed like Flip. Philip explains that Flip was his outlaw name. He was shy in reality, but in his dreams, he could be whoever he wanted. Later, however, his brother got a family and sailed the world, leaving him alone and now doesn't remember his dreams. She then gets startled and decides to go back to sleep and borrows his uncle's lockpicks for school and also assures him that his dad told him stories about him every night. The following day at school, she slips at her hideout and returns to Slumberland where she frees Flip by picking the door. Then they try to escape, and Green finds them, but Nemo freezes her with her own device and they escape. Nemo then tells Flip that there are no pearls, but Flip brushes off the argument, saying her brother once saw the pearls. They escape and travel on a flying goose and later find a creepy house, which is a gateway to the Sea of Nightmares. They walk through it and arrive at the Sea of Nightmares. Nemo reveals to Flip his identity in real life, a doorknob salesman and her dad's brother Philip, and how he stopped dreaming after her father left and couldn't wake up. Flip remembers, but now says he doesn't need the other guy since he has all the enjoyment he needs in Slumberland, but Nemo insists they find the pearls. Nemo opts to go alone, but Flip wakes her up. The teacher finds Nemo and calls her uncle, but she says she wouldn't understand, and they later head home. Nemo and Philip fall into an argument and she picks up Pig and decides to go home amidst the storm. Philip later notices she is missing and reports to Carla. In the storm, Nemo gets knocked out while rescuing Pig and then appears in Slumberland, swimming towards Pig and lands at the Sea of Nightmares. Meanwhile, Flip celebrates himself as the most wanted, but a man flying a plane finds him and condemns him for leaving a girl to wander alone in the Sea of Nightmares. Meanwhile, Nemo finds the shining pearls and uses Pig to grab one. A nightmare attacks her, but Flip saves her flying a plane and grabs her. They then fly out of the sea, but a nightmare still chases them. Later, they crash land and travel back to the garbage track, followed by the two other men, and crash back to the party with the lady. The nightmare chases them and the men, young kid and the lady singer, wake up to reality. Nemo and Philip then walk to the lighthouse, but she feels dizzy due to the storm in real life. Meanwhile, Uncle Philip and some sailors find Nemo's drowning boat. Flip gets snatched by the nightmare and Nemo makes a wish for Flip to wake up and appear as Philip, who jumps in the sea to rescue Nemo, who is drowning. The nightmare attacks Nemo but fails as she heads to the lighthouse. The pearl fades into dust and Agent Green finds her and asks her to squeeze the pig, and surprisingly, it coughs out a pearl, and Green leaves her to live out her dream. Nemo then makes a wish and meets her father at the lighthouse, and they race to the top. Nemo then tells his father is not actually to keep ships safe, but to guide people. Meanwhile, Philip and crew struggle to wake up Nemo. Nemo's father then tells her that he taught her not to live in an island, but to know that she could do anything in life. He then asks her to go back to experience real life, and gives her a key and asks her to watch over his wild brother. They bid farewell, and Nemo wakes up in real life, and they embrace with Philip. The following day after school, Philip picks up Nemo and flirts with the teacher. Later, Nemo and Philip sail the sea, and at night, they plan the night's dream. Nemo sleeps and Pig flaps his ear, bringing the exciting film to an end. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.